The Conjuring is one of the most popular horror movies of all time. It is a 2013 American movie based on a true story, wherein a family is terrorized by a dark presence in their house, and renowned paranormal investigators Ed and Lorraine Warren come to their rescue. The movie starts with a group of 3 friends describing their peculiar, strange happenings with their doll they call Annabelle with the known paranormal investigators, the Warrens. Closing the screen, the couple talks to a large audience that particularly takes a liking or is curious about paranormal happenings, sharing their experience during the cases they take on. A brief introduction is then given of the couple, stating that they started to gain their name in this field in the 1960s, helping thousands of people with the cases they take, while simultaneously facing criticisms from nemesis and churning up controversies. The actual story of the movie goes back to 1971 when the Perron family moved into a farmhouse that is in the middle of nowhere in Harrysville, Rhode Island. Roger and Carolyn Perron have 5 daughters: Andrea, Nancy, Christine, Cindy, and April. Happily jumping, the family enters the house, looking around in awe, but their family dog Sadie refuses to enter the house and whimpers while looking at it. Cindy happily places her wind chime outside the house that faces a lake and a tree, whereas April found a music box near the tree. Happy with what she finds, she starts to play with it. At night, when the girls decide to play hide and clap, they find the entrance of the cellar being boarded up. Breaking it, Roger enters it, and when he finds nothing special, he comes up. Not paying heed, they soon settle down. Carolyn sadly stares at her family dog from her room, which is not the first floor, as Sadie keeps barking downstairs. Morning comes by pretty fast, and every member of the family complains that the house is cold. Getting into their normal routine, Carolyn finds her husband downstairs, in the cellar. Roger was particularly happy as he found antiques downstairs that could be sold and the money could be used by the family. Smiling at her husband, she heads upstairs. Soon, paranormal happenings begin to occur, including weird occurring like every clock in the house stops working at 3:07 in the morning. Confused yet ignoring it, they get on with their day. When one of the girls goes out of the house to find their family dog, she finds him lifeless in the morning. Screaming, her parents come out for her, and when they see their dog lifeless, they are heartbroken. Crying, they mourn her death. The same morning, Carolyn woke up with large bruises, not remembering how she got them. On the other hand, a reporter visits Warren's famous room that is full of cursed, possessed artifacts along with the infamous Annabelle doll. When their daughter Judy walks towards the room, Ed strictly yet politely tells his daughter to stay away from the room and to never enter the room whatsoever. The family looks happy on the outside, but on the inside, they have untouched topics that have been swept under the rug. At night, strange happenings start at the Perron family's house, waking Roger up with a thud noise. Walking around to find the source of it, she finds Andrea on the stairs, informing him of Cindy's sleepwalking habits again. Patiently, he helps his daughter back to bed again. In the morning, after bath, Roger informs Carolyn of another bruise on her back. Not knowing how she had it, she decides to shrug it off, still confused. When Roger leaves for work, he finds birds dead near a window, finding it strange. On the other hand, after sending the girls off to school, except April, Carolyn gets back inside and finds her youngest daughter talking to an invisible friend named Rory. When she asks whether she could meet her friend, April answers in an affirmative, telling her to open the music box, wait for its music to end, and look into the mirror to find Rory standing behind her. She does so but finds no one there, startled when April yells at her, telling her she was kidding. Laughing, they decide to play hide and clap. While playing, Carolyn hears a clap from inside the cupboard. Thinking it's April, she opens the door but realizes that there is no one in there. Creeped out, she waits for the evening. Things soon escalated at night when Nancy and Christine encountered a malicious spirit after Christine woke up by someone pulling on her leg. The next night when Carolyn was about to get to bed, she heard something fall downstairs. Walking towards it, she finds frames by the stairs on the floor, broken. On walking further, she falls inside the cellar where she knows she is not alone, soon encountering a spirit. Andrea is also woken up by Cindy's thuds on her cupboard door. Placing her back to sleep, she informs Andrea of someone on the top of the cupboard. Turning around, she sees something there, screaming. Roger, who has just gotten home from work, rushes to his family. Scared for herself and her family, she attends a seminar at Massachusetts Western University, Wakefield, that is conducted by demonologists Ed and Lorraine Warren, where the couple share their story on the investigation of a possessed man and explain the 3 stages of demonic activity. Lorraine has the ability to feel, see, and communicate with the ghosts, while Ed is her behind-the-scene guy who is always there for his wife. A case they had taken a few months back had a toll on Lorraine, as she had seen something chilling that made her lock herself up in a room for days. Ed did not want to see that again, and he keeps trying to get Lorraine away from these cases. After the seminar, Carolyn meets the couple and explains her condition. At first, they do not listen to her, but as soon as she mentions her daughters, Lorraine agrees to help by taking a look. Reaching the house, Lorraine starts to feel peculiar. They soon get to work and start to conduct an initial investigation wherein Lorraine, through her powers, sees a dark force lurking in the house, latched onto the Perron family. She also realizes that leaving the house is not a solution for them and frees them from the clutches of this evil presence. Ed plans to voice record his interview with Roger and Carolyn, and of all the happenings that have happened in the past, Carolyn dictating everything. Lorraine, on the other hand, talks to April, who tells her about the invisible friend Rory she sees in her music box. After the conversation, Lorraine looks at the land surrounding the house, telling her husband of a corpse that is hanging on the tree right above where he stood. Knowing the seriousness of this case and to get a detailed explanation on the events and to gather evidence, they place cameras around the house with the help of their assistant Drew Thomas and a police officer named Brad Hamilton. With the cameras all in place, they start to research online to find the history of the house and its past residents. They soon find that the house belonged to an accused witch whose name is Bathsheba Sherman, who sacrificed her week-old baby to the devil, eliminating herself soon after in 1863 at 3:07 in the morning. Thus the history of clocks stopping at 3:07 every morning. She also cursed the land and anyone who intends to take her land away from her. Soon murders and suicides were reported after Bathsheba's death in the house that was built on the property. Plus, the video recording of the interview that Ed had taken with the Perron family had not been recorded at all, almost like Carolyn was not there in the room, talking. Cameras all set, Lorraine finds a photo of the family on the beach, smiling at it. Carolyn shares her feelings with Lorraine, lightening up the mood. That night, nothing happened. The next morning, when Carolyn is sleeping, Bathsheba appears in front of her, marking her body and possessing her completely. Soon night fell and paranormal activities started. Police officer Brad sees a woman dressed as a maid in one corner of the room and Cindy sleepwalking again. Roger thinks of it as a normal happening, but Ed believes otherwise. Following her at a distance, they find her inside a secret passage. While sleepwalking, Cindy is lured inside the wardrobe in Andrea's room where she finds a secret passage. Roger picks his daughter up and takes her out of the room, and April tells Lorraine of Rory and how he hides there when he is afraid. Realizing it is no coincidence if Cindy landed up there, Lorraine decides to enter inside, and not knowing what to expect, she falls down to the cellar while Ed stands outside, hesitant about Lorraine's decision after last time. A tad scared, she starts to pray and look around, the music box still in her hand, when she sees a spirit of a woman whom Bathsheba had possessed long ago, and had forced her to put her own child to eternal sleep. Realizing the evil demon's plan, Lorraine rushes out of the cellar and starts to scream and explain everything to her husband Ed. While talking, Bathsheba attacks Nancy by grabbing her by her hair. The incident is caught on one of the many cameras that are placed in and around the house. Without wasting a second, the family leaves the place. They take refuge at a motel. Lorraine stays back. While walking around the property, Lorraine is lured near the lake when she gets a vision. Rushing inside, she calls her mother and asks her about her daughter's well-being. After knowing she is safe at their place, she sighs in relief. Believing they have enough evidence that could be used to show to the church and receive authorization from the church, Ed and Lorraine head towards the church, talking to the priest about the happenings and hoping to get help. Father Gordon feels for the family, but due to his lack of authority, he is compelled to send the evidence to the Vatican in hopes of approval, as the Perron family were not members of the church. While driving, Lorraine orders her husband to drive home, feeling something bad is going to happen. The Warrens' daughter Judy is attacked by Bathsheba at the Warren estate, not expected by Ed or Lorraine. Learning of Bathsheba's strength and power, heartbroken by the state of their daughter's scared form, they console her when the phone rings. Ed picks it up and is informed by Roger of Carolyn grabbing her daughters Christine and April and running off the motel room, returning back to the house to eliminate them inside it, helping Bathsheba in increasing her power. As soon as Lorraine heard this, she rushed out of her house to save the family, but was stopped by her husband, who was concerned for his own family. Convincing it is the only way to keep the family safe, they drive back to the house. When Lorraine, Ed, Drew, Roger, and Brad reach the house, they go different ways. Drew was asked to get the girls safely out of the house and inside the car, whereas Ed and Lorraine would try to get Carolyn back to normal and eliminate or possibly destroy Bathsheba, and also knowing that if Carolyn steps out of the house, Bathsheba would eliminate her. Entering, they find Carolyn in the cellar trying to stab Christine. They soon grab Carolyn and tie her to a chair while Drew takes Christine out of the house and inside the car. Concerned for her family's safety, she insists on going inside, but was explained the situation by Drew, adding that it is not feasible to act irrationally right now. Calming a crying Christine, Drew rushes in to find April now. Ed starts to pray, attempting the exorcism himself. During the exorcism, Carolyn successfully escapes the room, getting out of their hand, and attempts to eliminate April, but Lorraine soon enters the scene and is able to call the true Carolyn back by reminding her of the day at the beach and the memory she shared with her family, all the while Ed trying to complete the exorcism and lifting Bathsheba's curse, commending her back to hell. Carolyn pukes, indicating she is now free. Everyone safely exits the house. Brad is only injured with a bullet he got while catching Carolyn. Slowly, they help her out of the house at dawn, where the family reunites, silently thanking the Warren family and sighing in relief. On returning home, Ed adds the haunted music box he got from the Perrons' home into his room that was full of cursed, possessed artifacts that they have collected from the past. The music box starts to play, ending the music in suspense. In the credits, real pictures of the family, the Warrens, and the happenings are shown, proving that the story is true.